There's only one national park where you'll find more than 2,000 arches inside 120 square miles. Welcome to Arches National Park.
You're listening to Travel FOMO, a podcast for people self-diagnosed with wanderlust.
Welcome to the Travel FOMO podcast. My name is Hillary Houghton, and I am here with my husband. And sweat buddy, that's what comes to mind whenever I think of this episode. And the past couple episodes, it's just been so blazing hot in these places.
A lot of desert.
A lot of desert, and we did do it in some really hot months. You're talking like August, September. So we kind of signed up for it.
Yeah, we didn't go at the optimal time. When we planned out our route, we really knew that in order to go to Banff and Glacier National Park, we had to go in the summer.
Yeah.
And there's only so much up north that we could do before we were like,
it's time to go south.
We got to get back across the country. And so we went down through California and then unfortunately put us in the desert in August, September.
No, it's pretty hot, but still worth it.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we are making our way through actually the 10th season of the podcast. Can you believe that?
10 seasons.
That's kind of crazy. So this is our national park season. And so far we have talked about Yosemite, Bryce Canyon, Zion, even Horseshoe Bend and Lake Powell, which are not technically national parks, but they are managed.
They're adjacent.
Yes. By National Park Services. But today we are taking you to Arches National Park in Utah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Moab, Utah, which is right outside of Arches, is where we stayed. We stayed in an awesome RV park there. It was very cool. We got to explore the town a little bit. Neat little place. If you haven't been, definitely recommend Moab. Of course, we go into Arches National Park. We'll tell you a little bit about that. Really unique. Liked a lot of things about that. It was Labor Day weekend, so it kind of added some spice to the weekend and stuff that was going on. And as always, we deliver with some travel day drama as we left.
That's right. Always trying to keep our hearts racing on the road. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, we came from Horseshoe Bend and Page, Arizona area. So it was another really hot place. You can hear more about that in the previous episode. And come to find out, though, it was like kind of, I wouldn't say it's unprecedented, but it was like a legit heat wave beyond what they were used to at the time. So it was a pretty big deal. So things were a little bit more extreme than usual. But I will say it was a breath of fresh air to get to Moab, where we had this great RV park. We stayed at Sun Outdoors, Moab Valley RV Resort. It was really nice. They had a nice pool, which was really popular in the afternoon. It didn't matter what age you were at the pool in the afternoon because there was no other place to be.
Right.
And the thing I really liked about it too, especially coming from Page, Arizona, is that there were not any surprise charges. In that last place, they wanted us to pay like $75 to use things like the pool. And that was really a shock to our system. But here they had like a really great laundry facility that I think was quite a bit more affordable than some other places. A great dog park. The staff was really friendly and great. They had putt-putt there at the RV resort.
Mm-hmm.
They also had green grass at every RV site.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about the fact that we are among rock. Like, everything around us is rock. And they managed to plant trees and plant grass at every single RV site. And the shade and the luxury of that was, like, such a big deal.
Huge deal, game changer.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. And then we were really close to some trails and a park, and then just 2 miles literally from Arches National Park entrance, and we were like on the outskirts of Moab, the city itself. So it was really convenient. We made the most of it.
Yeah, we've actually stayed at a few Sun Outdoors since then, and have really liked all of them. Definitely recommend them if you see one close to where you're going. Like, they're usually in a great spot. and usually pretty good. So it's a safe bet.
And we're going to go to another one. We've got another one planned.
Yeah,
too.
we're actually headed to one in Orange Beach, Alabama coming up before long. So excited about that. It was such a good spot and so close to the park. Like you said, just 2 miles from Arches. And Arches only has like really one way in if you're coming from Moab. And that kind of makes it a little cool. Like there's really only one entrance to the park. You do have to have reservations to get in. And like there is kind of a line there, a really long line to wait in.
I forgot.
Even though you have to have reservations, so it's really popular. Make sure that you well in advance book your way in. But the gate is kind of behind this or in front of this really big wall.
Yeah.
And so you're pulling up to it, and all you see is just this massive wall behind the ranger station, right? And you finally kind of get through, you show your reservation, and for us, we show our national park pass, and we get in, and you sort of like, switch back your way up this wall and sort of take this turn, and then you come in and you see the park kind of open up in front of you. And it's a really, really cool entrance to a park.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of national parks, you come into them and you're going to be in trees for a little while, or you're going to have to drive in fields for a little while, or there's some kind of like just gradual build up to where you get to where you want to go. And Arches just boom, you're right there.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense because it is a smaller park. I think it's 36 miles round trip. Which means you don't have to spend all day in your car driving all around the park to see a lot of it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. The hikes there are a little bit shorter, so that makes it really nice too. Just a really enjoyable park. But that beginning wave of like just coming through that wall and seeing it open up and being like, oh, it's all right here.
Yeah.
Like gets you really excited and pumped up. Like it's a really fun park to enter.
Yeah. One thing I remember too is that Arches is really unique in that I remember us hiking through it, and it is truly without shade.
Yeah.
Like there is no shade at all. And even in Bryce Canyon and Zion, there were huge mountains and canyons that really offered a lot of shade and throughout different portions of the day. And I think that's really interesting because Arches like has nothing to offer you like that, really. You're just in the sun, the heat of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the park itself is really interesting because there are more than 2,000 arches within 120 square miles. So that right there tells you like how condensed like all of these arches are. So you're going to see a lot even from your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So if, you have accessibility issues or anything like that, it's still a great park to get to go see all of these incredible arches. For those of you who are kind of want a geography lesson, arches like this were created from the erosion of really like the wind whipping through the plains, I guess, right? And creating these holes in the rock, right?
I mean, you're the scientist right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we saw several, and some of the ones we saw, North Arch and South Arch, Double Arch, Delicate Arch is really famous. It's the one where in 2002, when Salt Lake City was hosting the Olympic Games, they came through with the Olympic torch, and the first place that it went was under Delicate Arch.
That's cool.
So that's kind of cool. But Landscape Arch is another one. There were just some really good ones. We have some really cool pictures of you, actually, in the arches and stuff, which I really liked. The hiking there, though, I will say it's all really similar because there's not like a ton of hikes, and they're all about the same. You're just kind of like walking out within eyesight to an arch that you can probably see from the side of the road. There are some, though, I will say we walked through one that was like had a lot of sand. I was kind of surprised by that. And it was hot. When you're walking in hot sand, it's like a blazing hot trail.
Yeah, it did get hot quick. And we got into the park really early, but it was still really, really hot. But I thought it was really cool, the hike up to some of them, especially Double Arch. I remember hiking up to that and seeing it, and they're just so big.
Yeah.
And so massive when you get up close to them. You're like, oh, this is really cool. And the hikes aren't that strenuous, so you don't feel like, I walked all the way to see this, kind of a thing. I did enjoy the hiking there.
Yeah. And in fact, like if you're super into hiking and you want to like check all the boxes, there's less than 30 miles of hiking trails in the park. Some do require like a 4x4 vehicle, but that kind of like would give you like some, if you just have to hit all the trails or you want, to like experience it fully,
Right.
like it's only 30 miles of hiking trails. You could actually do that in a week really easy,
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's just kind of interesting thought. But, and I love that it was right next to Moab. Moab was great.
Yeah, and that like the whole area there is really about exploring the outdoors. And you mentioned like some of those trails you have to have 4x4s to get to. And so I feel like around Moab, you sort of see those everywhere, like razors and other stuff like that people just kind of drive around the city, which kind of like connects the city and the park and like the desert landscape. It all kind of gets pulled in together because they allow that kind of stuff to go on. So you see people in trucks and Jeeps and razors and things like that going in and out. And, it was really cool. I really like Moab. I think some of the things that we would recommend to like make your stay good in Moab would be stay at a place with a pool.
Mm-hmm.
You used the pool at our RV park several times. I went, I think just once, but you actually went a couple times.
Yeah.
That was really nice. Just have a way to kind of cool off in the afternoon. There's like good food there, like
a lot of good food.
Yeah.
So many cool restaurants.
We actually went to a place, Antica Forma, and it's an Italian restaurant, sort of a Neapolitan style. On the inside, it's not thrills, so don't look for like white tablecloths or anything like that. It's a lot more chill and like laid back, which is nice when you've been hiking in the desert all day and it's been hot. But the food was great.
Yeah.
We had homemade mozzarella.
Right. That was so good.
Yeah, which is really hard to find.
Yeah.
I feel like you can order a caprese salad a lot of places and you can find mozzarella a lot of places, but like homemade is different. And
it is good.
And it was good there. They also make their own pizza dough. Their pizza is sort of a Neapolitan style, very reminiscent of what we had in Naples. They had sangria that was really great. Definitely recommend that place. We had to stop in and like just take a chance on a lot of restaurants outside national parks. And I feel like a lot of times people know like we're the only game in town, so we don't have to be that great.
Right.
But this place just knocked it out of the park. Was really good.
A lot of places too.
There were a ton of places there. I remember we went and got coffee at Moab Garage Company.
I thought that place was so fun.
Yeah, you got a little trucker hat.
Got me a hat.
So if you're watching the YouTube videos,
you're gonna see me in this hat.
You'll notice coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You get a good dose of Hillary in the trucker hat.
I like it. I like it so much. I've even met people throughout the country who are like, "Oh, Moab," or they would be like, "Oh, Moab Garage Company. I've been there." And then one guy was like, "Moab Garage Company. My niece like either works there or I feel like he said my niece created that or is the founder of that or something."
That's right.
And it was like, "Oh man, that's so cool." But it's like she's got great taste. I loved her hat.
Hillary's hats. She's got. She's just making the hands across America, one hat interest at a time.
That was great, and there was shopping and all kinds of stuff there too.
Yeah, I remember we stopped and had some margaritas and chips at a little Mexican restaurant and just
fun.
Hung out. That was a lot of fun. I think we were glad to be in a place where we could like chill a little bit after coming from Lake Powell, where it was just so devastatingly hot, but. We got to really enjoy Moab, and it's a cool little town. So if you are interested in seeing a national park and seeing something really unique like Arches is, but you're like, I'm not like a campy type of person, you can go to Moab and enjoy Moab and chill and then like rent a razor and go run around the desert, go see some arches and have a really good time there.
Yeah. There was this one night that I was like doing laundry while we were in Moab and met this lady and we talked for like 2 hours. Like I just made this great new friend. She had actually RV'd for a really long time and had all these great tips for us. I ended up meeting her husband. They were like driving across the country, and they had like sold everything and were moving across the country. But they were doing it really slowly to kind of enjoy themselves. But they were going to move from California to North Carolina, where their daughter was. And so anyway, it was really fun to get to talk to her. And she was a Christian. And like by the time the conversation was over with, we like really knew each other's values. And it was just really, really sweet. It was a really nice time. And the laundry room was great. I'll say, like, I hung out in the laundry room for hours and it was like just fine. So anyway, that was just this nice little memory. I was like getting hungry for like relationships.
Yeah.
Because it had just been the two of us on the road for a while at that point. And so I was like, anytime I had the opportunity to really like connect with somebody, it kind of fueled my spirit a little bit. And so thanks to that lady, who I don't actually remember her name, but she was lovely and became my friend that day. So that was nice.
Yeah, we weren't actually there for very long. I think we probably could have stayed another couple of days and had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some places that were like, okay, I'm ready to get out of here. And Moab was one that I was like, this is kind of nice. Like, I wouldn't mind sticking around. But we had a schedule to stick to and places to go. So we had to hit the road. Before we did, like, we took Maggie on a little run just to kind of get her some exercise before we'd have to sit in the car all day. And we ran along the river, and it was really early in the morning. It was just at sunrise. And I remember, like, the kind of the breeze coming off the river was really cool.
That was
and
nice.
refreshing. So that was really nice. I enjoyed that.
And the trail was really legit.
Yes.
It was a really nice trail.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, like,
yeah, and we like didn't drive to it. We just ran from the RV park, which was another really nice feature that we could get right on that trail from there. Really enjoyed that too. And then came back and started to get ready to go. And it was a travel day. So of course the poo was going to hit the proverbial fan. And we noticed that one of the trailer tires was getting flat.
I could not believe it. Neither one of us had noticed, and we'd been there like at least three nights.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that I hadn't noticed either, but it was pretty flat. Fortunately, we had an air compressor where we could like air it up. We're like, okay, well, we'll air it up enough to get to a little tire shop here in town and have somebody fix it. Who knows how long that's going to take? Like, we're headed to Colorado. We're headed to Durango. So not a short drive in front of us, not a terribly long one, but we need to get on the road.
Right.
And the RV park we're staying at's full, so there's no extending stays or anything like that.
It's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend on Labor Day, which meant all the tire shops were closed.
Yep. But you know what you had, which was brilliant? Was that like...
The air compressor.
The air compressor is so brilliant.
It was one of the things that you were like, why do we need that?
It saved us. It was great.
It was good that we had it. We were able to air it up there, and we were able to continue on the road and try to make it to Colorado. We really kind of struck out, and we were just like, well, we'll air it up and kind of see how far we're going to make it. We're going to have to stop a lot and check it. But we did have the air compressor, so we knew, like, we can keep airing it up. Worst case, we have to, like, put the spare on, and, you know, but it was a long way to Colorado. And you're going to have to tune into the next episode to find out what happened.
Ooh, dun, dun, dun. And to also hear about Durango and Mesa Verde National Park.
Yes.
Which are both pretty great. Durango definitely shines in this next episode. What were your overall thoughts on Arches?
I really enjoyed Arches. I liked that it was a smaller national park.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think like the big national parks are really cool. And it's awesome to be in a national park and go to different sections of it and experience something so different. Like Olympic. You go to the beach and you go the whole river rainforest and you go to the mountains, and like a big national park like that can be really cool. But it's also really nice to have something approachable that you're like, I can wrap my arms around this and I can see it all and I can feel like I really experienced it. And it's all right here in front of me, and I don't have to go to a ton of effort to do it.
Right.
And then Moab's really cool too. So I really enjoyed our time.
definitely tap into Moab.
Yeah.
Whenever you go, try to spend some time in Moab, because it definitely is this just fun place to be, that Arches kind of complements it almost. I would almost say that Moab is the fun, thing to do, and then Arches is something that you get to do while you're there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think it kind of takes being outdoors in nature and seeing something that you haven't seen before to think outside yourself and think outside your world. And I think that national parks do provide that space a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people like them. And I think there's some people that maybe haven't experienced a really great national park that wonder, why do people go to national parks? I don't get it. I don't like to camp. I think a lot of people think I'm going to go sleep in a tent and get eaten by a bear in a national park. But there's so much to experience on the hikes, and so much to see, and so much that it kind of brings out of you and makes you think about. And I really enjoy national parks for that reason of you don't know what thought is going to come into your head when you make it to the end of that trail and you see the thing that trail is there to get you to see. And, you hear of writers and stuff that see something epic like that and write a song or a poem or something like that. And you really, when you've experienced that, you understand that it wells up something inside you. And so I would definitely say, if you haven't been to a really cool national park, figure out what you like and what you think is really beautiful and go see it. And then also figure out maybe what you don't understand why it's beautiful, and go see that.
Yeah.
And see what it brings up in you, and give yourself that time and space to really dive into that. I think if you do it, you would really enjoy it. And I think it's a great thing to do. Maybe not every single time that you travel, but every once in a while when you travel, make it an outdoors, beautiful nature kind of trip. And I think you'll see yourself mix a few in here and there.
Well said, Mr. Hogerton. Well said.
And if you would like to see some of the stuff that we captured while we were in Arches National Park, you can go out to YouTube, watch our YouTube video. You'll see a lot of the hikes we did, the Arches, some of our Moab stuff, a little bit of our RV park. Check that stuff out. It's all out there. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where we'll be posting content from Arches as well as some more updated stuff from the stuff we're doing now.
That's right. Like Jamaica. We just got back from Jamaica, guys. It's pretty great.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff to share with you there.
Yes, exactly. So go out there, check it out. Also, you can reach us by email if you would like, or if you have some travel advice for us or a story to tell. You can find us at travelfomopodcast@gmail.com, and we would love to hear from you. And until then, just remember that life is short.
Wander well.